Yo, welcome back to the PHNX Tailgate. I'm with these frauds, Johnny, Bo, Shane, and myself. DJ, kick that shit.
Saul Bookman, Marcos Deniz, a Padre, Southbound Community College Cougar, and best of all, a Wildcat from the University of Arizona.
Johnny Venerable, Maricopa, Arizona. We have a Denny's and an IHOP.
Bo Brock, the Harvard of Maricopa County, Scottsdale Community College, Fighting Artichoke.
Shane Diefenbach, North Scottsdale Circus School of Arizona. Honk, honk.
That intro always kills me because of Bo Brock. I don't. The running in place thing kills me every time.
Running in place. He's moving fast.
Oh yeah.
That's
my bad.
fine.
That was excellent.
High-speed camera.
Excellent camera work right there. Well, welcome to another episode of the PHNX Tailgate, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. I don't know what to say about my Arizona Wildcats, so we'll go ahead and start in the other side of the state with the ASU Sun Devils. You're here with the hangover. I got myself a little triple D.
Day drinker?
Yeah, a little day drinker right here. Or is it a double D?
It's double.
Is it double D? Yeah, double Ds are always good.
They are.
So you guys have a beverage yourself?
Yeah, I've got the Joy Bus Wow by our friends at Four Peaks. I've been on the pumpkin kick hard lately. I may or may not have had a pumpkin spice latte on the way to work
because you are basic as fuck. That's why.
I spilled it on my white pants, so I said, I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm gonna keep the good mojo going with our friends at Four Peaks and go with a wow.
He's got his white
The
pants
New York
on.
Football Giants are going to win this game.
I got the wow. I got white girl wasted last night. And guys, I realized this last night. I'm Nebraska as far as my drinking game. Like I used to be a powerhouse, and now I'm just a sad.
Tell us what happened to your phone.
I think it's in the Uber.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Not a good look.
I am raising a child. I am a parent, and I can't even take care of myself. It's embarrassing.
This feels fantastic. I'm well put together. I stayed in. I watched a movie last night. I went to bed at like 11 o'clock.
What did you watch?
I showed Leah Paranormal Activity. Because we're on a thing.
Yes.
She doesn't watch horror movies, so
I'm out
Paranormal
on
Activity
those.
was
Does she
last night.
like it?
Yeah, she thought it was okay. I'm keep trying to explain to her. I'm like, this is a pioneer of the movie industry, and she's like, I don't know.
The new Hellraiser on Hulu also, I would recommend
Slaps?
that as well. Yeah, it does.
My life is a horror movie right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the non-horror movies.
Anyway, let's not talk about horror movies anymore. Let's talk about the Arizona State Sun Devils getting a win for the first time in about 5 weeks. Trenton Bourguet steps in for Emory Jones, who got knocked out with a concussion. Does a fantastic job of really keeping ASU in the ball game. And I mean, Shaun Aguano gets his first win as a coach. And if you got to see these guys last night, you'll see Daniel Nyata was live from the locker room right after the game.
Yeah.
Like that's why you got to tune in right away to PHNX Sun Devils. This is how we roll. Guys, overall impressions on ASU. Is this the turnaround, or is this just a blip in the road in a good way?
Well, they showed glimpses these past 3 weeks. I mean, obviously the Utah game was not good by any means, but they competed against USC in the first half. They put together some drives, and then some turnover issues and just not being able to move the ball on third down got them where they were to lose that game. But there was improvement, and this was the most improvement we've seen. I don't think this is an outlier by any means. Trenton Bourguet was awesome, but I think the game plan was fantastic. Trenton Bourguet made some throws that I was blown away by. I mean, Emory Jones doesn't make some of those throws, but we'll see. Everyone wants to have the conversation of who's going to be the next quarterback, who's going to start. They got a bye week. They got to relax, and they got to get ready for Stanford because they have 2 games they should be able to win in Stanford and Colorado coming up.
So one thing we will never do on this show is fucking relax. I want to talk about Trenton Bourguet being the starting quarterback. Of course, Tucson's very own Trenton Bourguet. Of course, it took a Tucson kid to rally the troops up here in Tempe. Guys, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, he's 5'11". I like that aspect as a fellow short man. And he's probably without his cleats, 5'10 and a half, 5'9". So he's not the physical specimen that Emory Jones is, but he was a better, more refined thrower of the football last night. You got to give this coaching staff a lot of credit. We're seeing a bunch of fraudulent performances around the country from intern coaches, guys who should be fired, not this ASU staff. And again, as to Saul's point, this may not mean jack shit in the grand scheme of things at the end of the season. However, for this group of players, for this program, for the seniors on this team, like you beating a Washington team at home that's ranked, that's a big deal, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be ranked again this season.
No, that's it for them.
You were looking for anything from this ASU program, any signs of life. and to get it kind of not back on track, but a potential 4-4 record against UCLA would be great for this program, right? I mean, is that getting too far ahead of things? Are we? Do we need to relax a little bit?
No,
Shane?
I mean Stanford and Colorado are winnable games.
I think so.
I mean, if you lose, first of all, these guys talked about it earlier. Earlier in the week, they said if we lose to Colorado, I'm like, bro, listen. Last year we were the worst team in college football, and we lost to Colorado in Colorado, and they have not improved since then. I would argue it's the same exact team from a year ago. So. It could happen, but I doubt it'll happen. These are 2 winnable games. They should win these games. They should be 4-4. And if that happens, I think ASU. Listen, they go to 4-4. I think Shaun Aguano
Saquon Barkley's in the end zone.
should do everything. Should be the next head coach of the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Just if they go 4-4.
If they go 4-4.
Just if they win against Stanford and Colorado.
I think if they rebound after beating Washington and in those 2 games, and they're competitive the rest of the season.
Okay.
They can't get blown out like mollywopped by teams. Like that can't happen. Even if they lost the rivalry game, the rivalry game's a toss-up right now. You don't know who the hell's going to show up for that game, right?
If they get blown out in the rivalry game, then
that's a different story. Yeah, that always leaves a sour taste in everybody's mouth. So.
See, I know people are anti interim coaches keeping the title into the following season, but I think at the collegiate level, it makes a lot of sense for a program like ASU.
No.
Like, who are they going to get to come and be their?
Well, but this is what Aguano said.
You're not a fan of that?
No, give me a program builder. Don't give me a former
who's
high
going to
school
do that
coach
though
with
for
no-
ASU
But this
right
is
now?
what Aguano said last night, and he's kind of hammering home this point because this whole thing is winning with Arizona players. They don't do that. They don't recruit well in state for being a huge school in their own state. And Trent Bourget is an Arizona guy, and he hammered that home in the press conference last night. He said, you can win with Arizona players. You can win with Arizona players. So
against bad teams.
That's also the funny thing.
Against bad teams?
I think,
against a Heisman candidate, Michael Penix Jr.?
Wow, come on.
Real
It's
quick
over.
though, this is something that's been has been happening for. Listen, I've been around the Valley for 3 decades. When I was in high school, if you had a superstar talent, they always left the state.
Yeah,
with the exception of Arizona basketball. If you had a superstar talent in state, Arizona basketball was the only program statewide that actually would focus and try to get those players. That's why the best players that have ever come out of the state have gone to U of A. That's the only program. ASU, U of A football, for whatever reason, they always think the talent is outside. And the way Arizona high school football has grown here in the last decade or so, you've got some national talent here at home. And I'm glad that Shaun Aguano is acknowledging that. He's obviously he came up through those ranks as well. Jed Fish is the same way.
Yeah.
He's got guys at just about every fucking high school for every single game right now because he understands the value of Arizona talent. Keep that shit at home.
Yeah.
So that's the promising thing. The not so promising thing is the lure of a higher profile coach that might be able to instantly connect with recruits.
Right.
Who's that going to be? Who's that going to be though? If ASU had prospects and options like USC did after they fired what's his name and moved on Clay Helton,
because that's what I feel like Aguano is. He's just another Clay Helton.
I feel like we need to be realistic about where this program is right now. And Shane, you can attest to this better than anybody. If they had a bunch of 1AA supremely gifted coaches or a bunch of coordinators from Power 5 schools wanting to come here and become the head coach, that's a different story. A program builder, but I don't know if that's the case at the end of the year.
I just think 4-4 is nothing to really hang your hat on.
Well, I don't disagree with that.
It'll help, and being competitive will help. But I think you need another marquee win. I think you need, or just be really competitive. You have to be absolutely competitive and barely lose in all the rest of these games to show that this roster, the roster that is not yours, that you did not build, you can still win with.
What if they become bowl eligible?
With 6 wins, then yes, 100%. I think you would almost have to at that point. But I think he needs to get his own guys, and I think you need to grab guys from other schools because the defensive coordinator Donnie Henderson is not doing it. Glenn Thomas has showed at stretches where he just doesn't know what to call. I think he's been better, but from a defensive perspective, Donnie Henderson, I'm almost all the way out on him.
Do you sense a division in the locker room if Bourget doesn't start next week?
No. Bourget has been a 4-year bench guy. People know who he is and what he stands for. And Emory Jones is a guy that transferred here, and he's not a dude with a huge ego. I don't think that they are going to be clamoring for either side.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's funny what a difference a week makes. But you have one team that's 2-4 that feels like, okay, they got their legs back under them. They got hit hard in the face, a little wobbly, but it looks like they're getting back to it. And then you have another team that's 3-3 down south, that can't stop a nosebleed when it comes to running the football. Holy shit. Arizona right now is on pace to break the Pac-12 record for average rushing yards given up per play.
306 yards.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like they're averaging 7.6 yards per carry given up.
Well, don't you think we've talked about that before? Like they win a lot of games on heart and coaching and out scheming people. They do not have the horses up front on the defensive line.
No, the defensive offensive lines, that's where all the money is made right now. And when you recruit as shitty as Rich Rod and Drunk Sumlin fucking recruited. Yeah, fuck those guys, first of all. Because the way they came out and just tried to recruit 2 and 3 stars and half-assed this whole fucking thing and put Arizona 10 years behind the fucking curb is just ridiculous. Well, I'm still bitter about it. I still resent Kevin Sumlin. I was on the Kevin Sumlin train when he came on.
I thought he was going to be great.
And when I saw that first year happen, I was like, oh, we are in so much trouble right now because he wasn't recruiting shit, nothing. And it's showing right now. Like some of these guys, Jed Fish can only do so much in a calendar year. He had the number 2 ranked recruiting class in the Pac-12 with a 1-win season against a team that was riddled with COVID last year. How he pulled that off is beyond me. You'd like to think that trajectory is going to continue, but you got to win some games and you got to win some marquee games at some point. You got to get something. And last night they were never really in the race. Arizona has to play a perfect game to beat the likes of teams like Oregon, possibly UCLA. They got Washington on the road this upcoming weekend. It's tough.
I know you're frustrated. Like it doesn't tarnish anything that I think of this program or what Jed's done. Like this is exactly where we hope they would be. 500 through 6 games and potentially knocking on the door of a bowl at the end of the year. But Oregon, I think we've kind of been numb to the fact that this was a program that predominantly was a top 10 team. They took a step back at the beginning of the year. They have a new coaching staff that didn't really have an off season. And so they're now, I think this speaks more to Oregon than it does Arizona.
Well, Charles, that's why you don't listen to the national people. You can listen to PHNX Daily. That's why I gave you Oregon minus 13.5. But what you said about recruiting, you can teach skill players how to star in their roles. But when it comes to just teaching undersized and not very talented big guys, that's where the SEC makes their money. That's what makes it so hard. Yep. And that just doesn't come. So
people movers.
I think, give Jed Fish a couple years and he gets his own big dudes in there. It could get scary.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, when you're looking at the rest of this schedule, you're just looking for competitive games, right? I mean, that's you're going to take your lumps. You're going to have some duds like yesterday against Oregon, but still should be excited about the trajectory of the program.
I also think if Delora doesn't fumble that ball in the red zone at the start of the game, it's a completely different story.
1,000,000%. Mm-hmm. Like you start off the game and maybe you score 14 points instead of giving up 14 points.
Then they can't run as much.
Then they can't run as much, and the game somewhat changes, and you're in the game. But again, you have to play perfect, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't set the tone early, then you're behind the 8 ball really, really quick. And Oregon, man, whew,
what do you think about Doug Allen's chat here? Jed Fish to Nebraska.
That's never going to happen. That's never going to happen.
He's not going to take Vance
You're not
Joseph's
leaving.
brother's
Like
job?
one of the things that people need to stop doing is, first of all, Nebraska hasn't been good since fucking Tommy Frazier in the 90s. Okay,
90s, yep.
Like that ship has sailed. Nebraska is no different than Iowa State right now. Like you need to get on board with that because they're has-beens. They absolutely have been has-beens. They're frauds, and they are never will be's. Okay, so you got to move on from that. If Jed Fish decided to leave Tucson, Arizona, and the weather we have out here during the freaking winter to go to Nebraska and all those corn-fed fools, hell no. Like, I refuse to believe that. They would have to give him double what he's getting right now. And even then, I don't think he leaves because this is a nice place to be.
Well,
this is definitely a nice place.
I also think Arizona's bound for maybe the Big 12 at some point, and Nebraska is always going to get eaten alive in the Big 10.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Arizona's got a better path every year, I think, to a bowl game moving forward than Nebraska does. They're a third-tier Big 10 team, and I think Arizona, I mean, we have not seen the best from this program yet. Speaking of frauds, did you guys catch the Oklahoma game yesterday?
Yeah, I was about to get there.
So we're going to do something on this show called the Venerable Rankings. Producer Emma, cue this up.
Oh.
Fraud Venables, Brett Venables, greater or less than Johnny Venerable? I think we have the answer based on yesterday's performance,
I
gentlemen.
mean, you already put the thing in there.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a choice.
That
right
was
now,
voted
do
by the fans.
we?
The fans voted for
Was
that.
the fan
yes.
Johnny?
Well,
It was Frankie.
we did it last night. We did a poll last night. You guys weren't included on it.
Well, listen, Oklahoma, for the first time in 108 years, has lost 3 consecutive conference games, which is unbelievable.
They're terrible.
To hear. I could not believe that stat when I heard that. I was like, holy crap. 108-year tradition. They got absolutely manhandled. Oh, and by the way, welcome to the SEC next year.
Yeah.
They were shut out. Like, they haven't been shut out, I think, since 1998. This is a program that has averaged double-digit wins for the last 6 years. I think they've won 6 straight Big 12 championships. They peed down their leg after they lost their head coach, and they made a judgment call, a horrific judgment call. There's a reason Brent Venables wasn't getting a bunch of ass out of the ACC to come coordinate his defense. You know, and Bo Brock, I hate to say it, like, this is the man that developed Isaiah Simmons. Can I just say that right now? It's not working out for the Cardinals.
No, Trayvon Mullen, also a former Clemson product. But look, I mean, let's not knock those guys. When he has talent, that helps coaching, right? When you got talented players, he doesn't have it in Oklahoma. It was a mass exodus after Lincoln Riley went to Los Angeles, but that was embarrassing. You would think that you could compete. You see the jump pass that was picked off? I mean,
it was horrific.
I love the comment. I think it was Twitter, Reigns Undefeated, saying, give up the sticks, Brett Venables.
Yeah. Kevin Durant said that.
Yeah.
It was Kevin Durant. KD? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Pass the sticks, Brett Venables.
That is good. Yeah, I saw a great tweet that was, heading into the top of the 15th, Rays 0, Guardians 0, Oklahoma 0.
Yeah. So here's by Brett McMurphy. He had a tweet. Brett Venables is the first Oklahoma coach to debut at 0-3 in conference play. Also, OU has only lost more than 3 conference games 7 times since in 108 years of conference play, and that includes 6 different conferences. They've only lost 3 conference games in 7 years of those 108. Talk about an unbelievable stat.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Oklahoma is a national power, but right now they have a power outage. So
Texas is back, folks.
Tennessee or UCLA?
Speaking of drunk coaches.
Which one do you believe in more? Obviously, Tennessee gets a big win at LSU. They dominated that game. And then UCLA at home dominated Utah. Utah wasn't really – they weren't really close.
No, and it makes me so sad because I had no faith in this UCLA team. I thought the whole thing this year was going to be, all right, offense isn't working. DTR, let's go do something. And it was for the first couple games, and it was against South Alabama where they barely beat them. But now their defense is playing really well.
Yeah.
They have shut down corners. Their offense isn't just DTR. They're a top 2 team in this conference now. It's USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me, but. I mean, in Tennessee winning at LSU, I don't care about that. LSU,
well, and it's just like
Tennessee's good though.
Yeah, they are, and they've always had the NFL draft caliber players. It's just, can they put it together on Saturdays and win meaningful games? And LSU needs another year to recruit. And I'm not down on them so much, but I'm with you, Shane. Like Chip Kelly, we made fun of him at the NFL level. He was good initially in Philadelphia. I think we forget they went to the playoffs, and then egos, guys with big contracts. He clashed with those. He's meant for the college game. He's meant for 18, 19, 20-year-olds. His scheme, which I thought was outdated, looks, I think, better than ever now. And Bo, like the caliber of players that he's getting there defensively, I think shocks everybody.
Yeah, but the quarterback play is the biggest thing, right? You've got a veteran quarterback who's playing at a high level, finally kind of tapping into all the potential people saw when he was recruited by the Bruins, and he's finding it late in his career. Do you give the edge to Chip Kelly over Josh Heupel? I think Heupel's more of a unknown, right? Obviously, coached at UCF for like 2 seasons. And then the SEC, it's just it's treacherous. I mean, there's no way that the Volunteers can navigate that schedule easier than UCLA could potentially navigate the pack. So give me the Bruins.
I think for somebody to say Tennessee is back, is they would have to have a Georgia-like run.
And that ain't happening.
And no, it's not. Because that's the expectation from their fan base. It's like, we were once the great Tennessee program of the 90s, and we won national championships. Like UCLA can fuck around and win the conference and not sniff a national championship, and that's a success. Like Tennessee's in for fraudulently national championships, and they're not going to win.
But
one.
can we at least give Tennessee a little bit more credit? Because a lot of people thought they were in the mix of Nebraska,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
they were never
Absolutely.
coming back.
Yeah.
I think that's a good fan base.
Yeah.
It's a good place to want to go play.
Yeah.
They're not, just a dead program.
No, they just needed somebody that understood that this was a process and that this wasn't going to be Alabama day one, and really take the time to implement their own program. I think that's exactly what they've done here in Tennessee. They've done a great job, undefeated right now. Like they've got something going down there, and it'll be interesting to see how far they can take it. They just need to pull off one upset, either against Alabama or Georgia, and that will turn the whole tide. No pun intended. All right. Well, before we get on to our next segment, Shane, you got something for us?
Oh yeah, I'm sweating right now because of this next sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. It's the best place to do your daily fantasy. You can do pick'ems, you can do daily drafts, which we've been doing on our Underdog Fantasy show every Thursday at 3 p.m. Right now, I'm looking at a screen over here because I just need Christian Watson to catch a pass. But I
he
don't
left
think
the
that's
game. He's out of the game.
good. Fantastic. Also need A.J. Dillon to score a touchdown, so we'll see. But with the pick'em feature, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. You just pick a higher or lower on your favorite players or least favorite players, props, and you just watch them go. I mean, I have my favorite under today, or my favorite lower on Underdog Fantasy is Kenny Pickett, under 202, because he has small hands and it's cold in Buffalo, so he'll be even smaller.
Oh my god!
But I also just think
did you really have to go like this?
smaller?
Like to shrink it?
Yeah, shrink the hands.
Cool.
But yeah, download Underdog Fantasy today. Use that promo code PHNX, and when you do, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. It's Underdog Fantasy promo code PHNX. Get in on the action today, baby.
There we go. All right, Emma, what you got for the next segment? Survey says Cerveza.
All right, so unfortunately, we all know that the Cardinals have not won a game since October 24th, 2021. So this game is called Before or After.
At home. At home.
Oh, well, yeah, at home, yeah.
Monster. They're road dogs all the time.
So I'm
Road
going to be
warriors.
giving you guys pretty much like stuff that has happened either before or after that time frame.
Let's
You
go.
guys pretty much just have to say whether it happened before or after. Chat, feel free to chime in. You guys ready for the first one?
Let's do it.
All right. Los Angeles traded former first-round pick Jared Goff before or after?
Before.
Yeah. Pete Davidson has removed 1/3 of his tattoos.
After?
After.
It's after.
Let's go.
Ooh,
2 for
nice.
2.
How many A-list celebrities has he dated since
The
then?
Giants won in London.
I see that.
After.
It's a joke. That's a fucking joke.
All right. Avatar re-released their original movie.
After Christmas last year.
I thought it just came back out last week.
It did.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's both after.
Nick Bosa tore his ACL
Before.
Which time?
Before.
before.
We got to slow down a little bit so the chat can get involved.
I see
So
Charles.
give us a little second to think about
Let's
it
do
for a
it.
second.
All right. The series Stranger Things was renewed for its final season.
Overrated.
After.
I mean, they could have renewed. They
Say
should have done that
overrated.
a long
Yes.
time ago.
I'm not even a Stranger.
let 'em
I've
go.
never seen Stranger Things, but I know it's not overrated.
Well, the first season is fantastic, and then they just didn't care.
This
just
most
let it
recent
go.
season
Cash grab.
was good.
Garbage.
liked it.
If you
Yeah,
watch,
the most recent season is good.
it is good.
But everything 2 through...
The kids are too old now, though. They should have capped it at 3 seasons.
Chad, am I wrong saying that?
How do we have these strong takes on Stranger? It's a fine program.
It's
But
too long. It's
yeah,
worn
but
out. It's welcome.
It's fine.
It's
but
a fine program.
But it's a lot like the SEC. People overrate it.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now.
Like I don't have any problems with the conference or the show itself. But then when people come on and say it's the best, they just shove it in your face. Then that makes it overrated.
It's got a lot of unrealistic premises on it. The most unrealistic is the fact that they bring on a new character every season.
Unrealistic.
They initially
Aren't there monsters in it?
It has an
I said there's a
upside-down
bunch of
world.
unrealistic stuff.
But you said it as if like it should be based in reality.
Well, but I have to dispel belief and suspend belief. Can I get my point out, please?
No.
You know what bothers me
It's
most about
null
the
and
show?
void with what
Go
you
ahead.
just said.
Go ahead.
They bring on new people every season and they kill off those people, and the core group is
Yeah.
alive. I think that's why it will never reach like hierarchy top tier shows for me, because like I don't feel like any of the main characters are ever threatened. So that's how I feel about that.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All
what
right.
was
Kill
our
off
final
some of the
answer on
kids.
that one?
Jesus.
So after?
That was actually before.
It was before?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
They renewed
Okay.
it in 2019
Okay.
for their final season. Zendaya became the youngest person to ever win Best Actress in Drama Series Emmy.
After.
Before.
Before.
Damn it.
Patrick Mahomes rushed for 34 yards versus the Bucks.
That was before in the
that
Super
was
Bowl.
before. That was in the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. Kyler Murray threw 207 passing yards versus the Panthers.
That was last
Before.
week, so that was after.
Oh, no, that was after. 'Cause that was the week after they beat the Texans, that last home win.
Yep, that was after.
And he didn't play against Carolina last year. It was
All
Colt
right, this
McCoy.
is the last one that I have. Andy Dalton was named the Week 1 starter for the Bears.
Before.
Before.
Yeah.
So
Before.
do you think, I mean, with all this Oklahoma chatter, you think Josh Heupel's a real, I mean, that's his alma. You think he could go back?
Yeah.
Come as soon
You
as
think
next
Brent
year?
Venables gets fired after this
No,
year?
I don't know if it's that soon, but is it inevitable?
I would fire him after this year, but I don't
Johnny,
think they will. though.
you would fire a lot.
Johnny
of
Where would
people.
you rather-
Johnny's calling for Matt LaFleur to be fired right now.
Johnny
Would
was,
Matt
the
LaFleur
coach
just
said-
cost me $75 in the 7-leg parlay that everything hit other than the Packers money line. God damn it. Yeah, I would fire Brent Venables.
Johnny would fire everybody in like less than 3 weeks.
Here's the thing,
Except
though.
for Cliff.
Like if
yes,
Johnny,
Cliff is safe.
if Johnny,
Cliff made the playoffs
if
last year.
Johnny was the one that put together PHNX, half of us wouldn't be here.
I would have
That's
been
not
gone
true.
day one.
It's not half,
Like,
three-fourths.
yeah, we gotta get rid of Shane because he's a fraud, and that ASU show.
It's
is
not
just
half.
terrible.
It's 3/4 of the team would be fired. Yeah.
I do have just one random question that I was thinking about last night, though.
Sure.
If you guys could give each one of, like, each other a car, so, like, who would be, like, a Jeep or, like, something like that? Who would be,
I don't like where this is going here at all.
Just out of
Johnny's
curiosity.
easy.
so, like, what car is everyone?
Johnny would be a Mini Cooper.
No,
I'd
give
be-
him some more
oh,
respect.
like
Johnny's
what?
a Mazda Miata.
That's cool.
Okay, all right.
I don't even know what that is.
It's
It's like a
like a
little
little-
convertible. It's like a 2-person convertible,
Yeah.
but it's like small.
Sexy as hell, probably.
Yeah, it's fucking fast.
It used to
Yeah.
be the midlife crisis car.
Yeah.
For a while.
Get the ear piercing, maybe.
Bo is definitely a truck.
No, Bo's like a Chrysler 300.
No, Bo literally. Bo,
I know he drives a truck, but we're not taking this literally. He just looks
No,
like a
I know, but
Chrysler
he-
300.
I have trouble getting in and out of Bo's car.
I boost you up sometimes.
Saul is an Escalade.
Yeah, it's. Is it on an extension or whatever? A lift?
No, I don't
You
have it
lift kick?
lifted. No.
I don't know
Yeah.
what Shane is.
I would say
don't know.
Saul's a BMW, like an X5.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like a crossover.
There we go.
A sporty luxury vehicle.
Hey man,
Is
we're
that-
gonna
is
get
that because I'm interracial or
No, nothing to do with it.
All right. What's Shane?
something like one of those
I
cargo
think
vans.
He's a Wrangler guy.
Yeah,
Cargo van.
one of those vans that has like the 6 rows or whatever.
No, you know
That
what
you
Shane
take on
is?
field trips?
He's a PT Cruiser.
No,
No,
no.
you
I know
That's
need that.
what
probably,
Shane is.
that's probably the most offensive thing anybody's
I know.
ever
I know what Shane is. Shane is a refurbished school bus that has all the nice
Oh, that
things
goes
inside.
hard.
Oh.
Yeah, that goes hard.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
For sure.
Maybe
That's just on brand.
Bronco is good. Yeah. I like
Because you
that.
look at them, you don't know what to expect, and then you get inside, you're like, oh,
I don't want the Bronco
there
affiliation.
you go.
Not
Just
with,
'cause OJ.
no, not with that. Broncos country or that. Just,
Let's
no.
ride.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to ride anywhere.
Let's ride.
All right. Thanks, Emma. All right. We got some bets to make. We got some parlays to take. Let's go to Tap That App, where we find out what our props, our locks, and our drops are for week 5, 6,
5.
5.
Five alive.
Man. All right. Yeah. Cardinals are 2-2. So week 5. Here we go, Shane. Start it off.
My prop, I said it earlier, Kenny Pickett under 202.5 passing yards. I think the Bills absolutely steamroll them today. 202 is a number that's intriguing for some people because you're like, oh, any quarterback can pass for that. Not Kenny Pickett. He had a rough outing when he came in halfway through the game. I don't think game plan is going to do much for him. I'm taking Kenny Pickett's under.
I think Jared Goff has been widely slept on this season. He's had a phenomenal year so far, 3rd in passing in the league. I think he continues to go with that today. I'm taking Goff over 1.5 touchdowns against New England in New England. I think he's going to throw for several hundred yards, obviously, and then I think he's going to throw for well over 2 touchdowns. So I got that 1.5 touchdowns at plus 110. Take that and run.
Just a real quick point on Kenny Pickett. Like, is Kenny Pickett, to me, does he need to have a good end of the year for them to maybe not pass on a quarterback next year?
They
They took him in the 20s. I have not been impressed. I know it's only been a little bit over a half of football. I'm anxious to see how he does in inclement weather because I think he's built like Trubisky. I think you're getting just a younger Trubisky with him.
I definitely saw an improvement from him, or from Trubisky to him, in that game alone.
Okay.
Missing some throws. I think he's better than Trubisky. I think as long as he doesn't just absolutely implode, they will pass.
See, I think
also like he fucking plays in Pittsburgh. He's been playing.
I think.
Pittsburgh
Well,
for
he played in the
years.
ACC. I think they
He's
reached.
still playing the fucking weather.
They reached in a bad quarterback class. They're gonna have it. I think this is the year Tomlin goes under 500, and they're gonna be.
My point is the weather has nothing to do with it.
We'll see. We'll see about that in the NFL. All right. So your props are fine. I like mine more. I'm here to make you money, America. Trey
You know what's funny? I hear that phrase every single day. I hear that phrase every single day on bets. I like yours, but mine are better. Here we go. Were you about to say something about Maricopa?
No, because I don't talk about that
He's
place
about
when
to
I'm
give a
here.
bad
I
prop.
have good memories.
He's about to light people's money on fire.
No,
Let's go.
here's
No, Johnny has good props.
Trey McBride is cemented now as the Cardinals' number 2 tight end.
Take it back.
Cemented as their number 2 tight end.
Stop it. Antoine Wesley's out. They have no
He's been out, Johnny.
They have no big-bodied receivers other than AJ Green, who I hope doesn't see the field. You can get Trey McBride, the native son, plus 19.
Native to where?
That's
He's from Colorado, born and raised.
I'd love to get my point out, please. Plus 1,900 today on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Dabble on it. I'm telling you right now, he's going to score a touchdown today. I have a 3-leg parlay with him, Kyler, and Jalen, all with touchdowns. It's going to pay out huge. Plus 1,900. Trey McBride scores today. Put as much or as little as you want. You can do as low as $5 on the DraftKings Sportsbook app.
The New York Football Giants are 4-1.
Jeez.
What are we doing?
Brian Dable.
Cost me $75. You fraud.
Aaron Rodgers
Packers.
needs to retire and go live in a hut and do ayahuasca by himself.
The Packers should be 1-3. They should have lost to New England last week. They had to play Zappy Doo, and then the week before that, Tampa Bay had no players available. The Packers should legitimately be 1-3. Can't believe I bet on them. Go ahead, Bo.
Oh man, I can't believe you dropped the McBride prop for people. I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert over 1.5 passing touchdowns.
You hate our team.
I mean, he's leading the league in passing yards. He throws the ball all around the yard. Give me Justin Herbert. I like the Chargers a lot over the Browns. I just saw it move to 2.5. It was at 2. I like the Chargers. I like Justin Herbert 1.5. Go over.
You have a
What's your lock?
Yeah, let's stick there with the lock. Give me the Chargers. Give me the Bolts over the Brownies. 2.5 points. It went up. I had it at 2, but I still like it at 2.5.
That was one of the best games of the season last year. Was the Browns against the Chargers? Ironically, yeah.
That line scares the hell out of me. I don't understand it. I guess they're banged up, but
I would love to be buddies with Trey McBride, and I think it starts today. I think we should clip this once he scores a touchdown or multiple today against the Philadelphia Eagles. I like your lock. I'm picking the Chargers as well, but not for my lock. My lock today, and I said it on bets, so I'm a man of my word. I'm doubling down. The Commanders are going to beat the Titans at home today. The Commanders, led by Ron Rivera, have the number 1 run defense in the NFL. The Titans aren't going to be able to move the ball. There's no Treylon Burks. I think Tannehill is going to look garbage. The Commanders' defense had 2 interceptions nullified in the second half last week against Dallas, or that game is dramatically different. The Commanders are really playing for their season. They want to try to be relevant here in mid to late, October, November. I think the Titans, having won 2 in a row, are going to be able to take a deep breath, lose this game, and be fine in the grand scheme of things in the AFC South. So Commanders is my lock of the day. They're winning. Book it.
Emma, do we have like a sounder or something like that? Like a beep, 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 beep,
Yeah,
or anything like that? Can we play a little air horn?
it's in there. There it is.
This is my lock of the week, and this is the Bookman special. I don't do a Bookman special very often. This is the first time I'm ever doing this. This is a lock, and you got to take this. The Jags against the Texans. You need to take the alternate money line.
Okay.
The alternate money line at minus 21.
Alternate spread.
Take it. The alternate spread. My bad. At minus 21, plus 486. Easy money. The Jags are going to murder the Texans in Jacksonville today.
Throw a house on the Texans money line now.
Do it. I'm
21 points?
Dude, the Jacksonville Jaguars are continuing to be slept on. They're a good team.
They are.
They get their unlike Cliff, they get all their assets involved in the game offensively. And I think they're going to destroy. And Christian Kirk's probably going to have another big game. Actually, no. it's past week 4 of the season, so Christian Kirk will not have a week.
Hey,
he won't have
I'm
a
with
big
you.
game.
Lovie Smith should not be a head coach in the NFL. It's over for Lovie.
He's
No,
just a
Graybeard
bridge
needs to go.
head coach.
I just
One Graybeard to another.
division game, 21 points. That's a lot. I don't hate it. I mean, I think they cover. We'll see. I like putting the cojones out there, but I'm going to be a little more safe and take just give me the Niners minus 6.5. I don't understand. Baker Mayfield's not going to move the ball. I'm also taking his under. A little same game parlay action on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I think he's around 200 passing yards. The over-under is 40 in this game. It's going to be gross. I think the Niners win like 20-3. Gross.
I got another tasty nugget.
Ooh.
Yeah, tasty nuggets. We love tasty nuggets here.
You.
CeeDee Lamb, Cooper Kupp, 20 receptions combined at plus 800. I don't hate
Wow.
that. I don't hate that.
I just don't know if CD can hold up his end of the bargain. On
Yeah,
that.
but if CD has you're basically just betting on CD to have more than 8 catches.
That's a lot.
Cooper Kupp's,
I know.
Cooper Kupp's
That's why
going
it's
to eat
plus 800.
Trayvon Diggs alive, so I don't hate that.
Wow.
Because I think the Rams are in a must-win, and they have no players outside of Cooper Kupp. So
What are you not touching, Shane?
Shit, there's a lot of weird games out there today. Probably the night game tonight, which is going to be a fantastic game. The Bengals and Ravens. Rashad Bateman out, but I still like the Ravens in this game. We're still waiting for a Jamar Chase otherworldly 150 yards and 2 touchdown game.
Please.
I think it might come tonight, but I don't know. This game's in Baltimore. The Baltimore can't really run the ball, but neither can the Bengals. I don't know. I'm staying away. The
Didn't
line is
Chase
3.
go for 240 against the Ravens last year?
Something like
In the
that.
last game they played, he just absolutely ate.
I'm not touching the Steelers at the Bills.
Yeah.
I know everybody's on the Bills bandwagon and that the
It's a
Steelers
lot
are
of
down.
points.
But damn, minus 14, bro. I don't know about that because even on their worst day, Mike Tomlin still knows how to rally the troops.
Yeah.
And he knows how to get those guys ready to play. He's probably talking as much shit to them as the Bills fan base is talking shit to them. So I am going to assume that they're going to come ready to play today. I don't think they're going to win, but I also don't think that they're going to get blown out like that. I'm hesitant to touch that money line, so I'm not touching that game.
Johnny, you see what you're doing to the
hell
people?
yeah, Aaron Lee. You got plus 2,200. I wish I got that line because it is hitting. Hell yeah, peeps. Trey McBride, Trey Day. Now that Trey Lance is gone, Trey Day now belongs to Trey McBride. Thank you. Hashtag Trey Day on Twitter. I agree with your picks. Here's the one I'm not touching. I've been telling Shane all week. Man Campbell, is he going to go into New England and win this game, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is healthy for the Detroit Lions? Are the Detroit Lions, going into New England and beating Bill Belichick?
Yes.
I think so, too, but I'm not touching that game. I want no part of it.
The only thing I like is the over in this game.
Yeah, that's fine. And Zappy Deuce starting for New England.
There's another Zappy.
Zappy, like that game is going to be one of the grossest games of the year. I'm going to watch every second of it, but I would not touch it or bet on it at all. But Detroit, like everybody loved them out of Hard Knocks. I think they're a fun story. Number 1 offense in the NFL, last in defense, total defense. Like, are you going to start 1-4 Detroit? Is this the same old
Speaking
Detroit?
of fantasy in the chat, Doug, if you have Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson, start both of them today. The Lions' run defense is abysmal, and they're going to feast today. Both those guys are going to go crazy. I like their overs as well.
I don't know what's going on in Tampa Bay. They're 11-point favorites over the Falcons.
It's 11 now?
Yeah, I'm staying away from that game. I mean, Tampa hasn't
my
been consistent
God.
all season long. Atlanta's played tighter games, but I just don't know which way to go. So I'm just staying away
Falcons
from that
plus
guy.
10.
You like that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, all right.
No Kyle Pitts.
Uh,
That bastard.
It's a Kyle Pitts legacy game on the sideline.
Leah's coming for your throat, Johnny. Johnny, didn't you pick Detroit to win the division?
I did. So win a game,
What?
please.
You got him at plus 700, right?
Plus 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
right.
So, I mean, just
It's
figure
not
it out.
terrible, though, because the whole division's trash.
It is. And you know what? They scored 35 points per game,
Although
but they're
the
1-4.
Vikings are 3-1.
1-3.
aren't they? Yeah, so maybe that's the. Anyway, so
who picked the Vikings?
that
to win
was
the
Tap
division?
That App. I appreciate that. Let's move on to our final segment of the day, where we do a flight risk and talk about the Cardinals versus the Eagles. Apparently, it's a road game for the Cardinals here at State Farm Stadium today because if you look on social media, there's a lot of green in the Valley this weekend because Philadelphia hates their own city and they don't like cold weather, so they come here to enjoy ours and take the L, hopefully. Let's start off offensively. What are we looking from the Cardinals? Rondale Moore expected to play, so yay, 15,000 screen passes. What are you hoping to see that you haven't seen so far in the first 4 games of the season?
A point in the first quarter. They haven't scored a point in the first quarter. Philadelphia Eagles have scored more points in the first quarter, the first half. They're front runners, so the Cardinals need to be ready to bust out the bag of tricks. I'm talking fake punts. I'm talking onside kicks.
Johnny just going right for it.
I'm telling you right now, if you go 3 and out consistently, you can do that against Carolina and Baker Mayfield. You can't do that against this Philadelphia Eagle team. They need to run the football. They can run it even without Rodney Hudson. Sounds like Justin Pugh's going to play. They've got 3 running backs that we're all very high on. They've got tight ends. Kyler Murray leads the NFL in attempts, Bo Brock. That's not a recipe for success right now.
Hey, he's only behind Mitchell Trubisky for last in the league as far as yards per attempt as well, just under 6. So he's throwing it a lot, but not for a lot of yards. What Saul said on our preview show on Friday, you got to reincorporate Greg Dortch in this offense. 1 catch last week. He's been a monster. He's more than just a training camp darling. He's a guy that can help move the chains and make big plays for this team. I like what you said about the running backs. I think that's a good point. But go with the hotter hand, right? James Conner, he's more of an inside the tackles runner. Go with your guys who can get on the outside a little bit quicker. Darrell Williams, Eno Benjamin. Feed Eno. 11 snaps last week, 6 touches, and he was magic with each and every touch. Get him the ball more too. Give those guys that have been hot since OTAs, ride them right now, and it could help with a hotter start. They've got to come out of the gates with a little sense of urgency, because if they don't, you're not coming back like you did against the Raiders. No. You're not coming back like you did against the Panthers. Those teams are trash. But we'll see. We'll see with Philly. I mean, are they for real too? I think that's going to be something that's going to be answered today a little bit. I know you like Jacksonville. They rallied back past Jacksonville, but they beat Washington, who sucks, and they beat Detroit, who sucks. So
yeah,
and the Vikings are okay.
You can't control who you play though.
Sure.
And this team is, as I've said multiple times, I think it's the most talented roster in the NFL. They're just so deep at every position, especially the offensive line. So I don't know if you're going to win many pass rushes. I think the corners, they've been playing well. I think they need to continue playing well. You can't let Devontae Smith have a huge game against you, because Lord knows there's a lot of other options, but Devontae Smith is the one that can kill you. A.J. Brown's going to get his, but if Devontae Smith can get his too, the game is over.
They did a pretty good job against A.J. Brown when he was a member of the Titans last year in the opener. I think that, Byron Murphy stacks up pretty good physically against A.J. Brown.
It's Marco Wilson versus Devontae Smith. Yep. And Shane, on our Friday show, PHNX Cardinals Live, I pulled up the stats from when Alabama played Florida. When Marco Wilson was there. It did not go well. Devontae
was that the game where he threw the shoe?
No,
that was against LSU.
If you need to throw a shoe today, though, I'm all for that.
That is probably one of my favorite college football clips of all time.
It's the reason he fell to the 4th round. Speaking of our Friday show, you guys probably haven't checked this. I looked in the
stupid reason to fall to the 4th round.
And the character concerns.
Well, and his brother was a bust too. So maybe
Johnny had character concerns when we signed him.
Yeah. I'm a 1st round pick. So I looked at the comments from Friday's show, from our show PHNX Cardinals. It got flooded by Eagles fans that said we were homers, that said you guys are overrating your team. For that reason and that reason alone, I feel like the Cardinals are going to win, because I feel like the entire city of Philadelphia is overcompensating for a team that is good, is talented, but so they haven't beaten anybody. And so I think that this is the prime upset for the Cardinals, who have not won at home in almost a calendar year, to come out and play with their hair on fire. You really have nothing to lose if you're Cliff Kingsbury.
Listen, I will say this right now. Philadelphia Eagles are giving me Dallas Maverick fan vibes right now. They jump in our chat. They want to be a part of it because they don't have anything fucking worth tagging themselves to in Philadelphia. It's such a horrible city with a broken bell. Like, fuck that town. And
they were really mad at you calling them a fraud city too, which was great.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm just gonna call. I've been there before, and I would never go back. So come back to Arizona anytime you want. Enjoy our beautiful weather, because that's the reason why you're here. And that's it. Listen, they're going to take the L today, and they're not going to like it, but it's true. And I think Isaiah Simmons.
Oh no!
Knock on fucking wood again.
Oh boy.
I think I say this every freaking week. It's eventually one time I'm going to be right. Isaiah Simmons is going to lay the wood on Jalen Hurts at some point today, and that's game over.
I think you're right. Nick Vigil, who was playing more snaps than Isaiah Simmons, went out of last week's game, Bo. He's on IR, so he's not an option for old Vance Joseph, the crutch Nick Vigil. So Isaiah Simmons should play 80+% of the snaps.
You would hope. I mean, Ben Neiman still is on the team. He still takes snaps from him. But he's going to have a big game with Hurts and with Dallas Goedert, who is a huge play tight end, one of the bigger, 20-plus yard plays in the league. I think he leads the league as far as 20-plus yard catches. So Dallas Goedert, one of those guys you have to keep tabs on, along with the guys that Shane mentioned, Devontae Smith and Miles Sanders. I mean, it's crazy how many weapons these guys have.
Gainwell and Miles Sanders look the same. They'll do different things.
5 yards per carry in his career,
yeah,
not just this season. He's a monster that you have to bottle up.
81% of the money is on the Eagles, so I like an upset here.
Listen, I think the national media. Listen, the Cardinals were 6-0 last year and didn't get nearly the love that the Eagles are getting right now.
Correct.
There's a reason for that. It's because there's an East Coast bias for every fucking team in every sport that's on the East Coast. Like the Knicks pissed in the right direction, and all of a sudden, like they're the best team ever. Like it's just one of those things that we have to deal with here on the West Coast, which is fine. But that doesn't mean that your team is legit. And they might be 4-0, and they've won some quality games, and they've done it in a very efficient manner. Mm-hmm. And Jalen Hurts has looked every bit the part of a potential MVP candidate. But it's week 4. Everybody calm down. I think everybody in the NFL is starting to get their legs under them. I feel like the first 4 weeks of the season was kind of like almost like a preseason, to be honest
Especially
with you.
for the Cardinals.
Yeah. Especially for the Cardinals. They won ugly, but they have still won 2 games and lost 2. I think today they kind of break out of their little funk, and I think Kyler puts on a fucking show like you've never seen before.
Please.
And hopefully Trey McBride gets a touchdown.
Yeah.
People are calling that egregious. Like 2 weeks ago against the Rams, Kyler had a misread in the end zone. He started the last 2 weeks. He's a starting player for them. So that alone should give you hope of something plus 1,900. He was open in the end zone. He's going to play a bunch today. Their offense should be predicated in the red zone with running the ball right now and focusing on the tight ends.
How do we have a Zach Ertz kind of like he's playing his former team for the first time, and you're all over Trey McBride?
Well, I think Zach Ertz can get his too, but I'm just looking at
he's going to get the attention.
That's right.
I just don't think that
we're going to get Gert Muskert, second, third string linebacker on Trey McBride, and he's going to make a difference. Yeah. Listen, I want Trey McBride to have a good day. I do think there's a really good chance not only he scores a touchdown, but he has 40 or 50 yards. Get out of here. Get out of here. I talk about
I've been doing this the entire show.
Thanks for Charles Barkley.
You know who else talks with
scumbags?
My parents, because they're deaf. All right, let's go
Christ.
home. That's it for today's show, the PHNX Tailgate. Thank you so much for joining us. It was fantastic having you along with us. We'll be here again next week as we continue to destroy each other on this show. For Shane, for Bo, for Johnny, I'm Saul. Have fun watching the games today. Bye.